Hey, Dagan, what were you telling me earlier about Paris? Or?
Oh, I like Paris in the spring?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the differences between primary and secondary vision, kind of positive, negative space, and one of the drills that I used to do with the sniper students in Quantico to illustrate that although the eyes and the brain are working in conjunction with each other, obviously, they're not necessarily always on the same team. And one of the drills we used to do was, I like Paris in the spring, where I would take a white sheet of paper, standard 8x10, and in the center of it, there was a black triangle, and the words said, I like Paris in the spring. And I'd pull that sheet of paper out, and I would just walk up to the first basic student, and I'd say, hey, read this out loud. He'd read it out loud, and then I would take it to every other student in the class, whether that was 5 more or the other 23 students. And 99.9% of the time, once that first student read that out loud, most of the other students wouldn't even look at the paper. They could obviously recall what they heard, like, in other words, I don't need to read it, I don't need to look at it, and they would look me dead in the eyes and they would recite it, right? And then at the end of it, I would kind of say, hey, read it again, or with a primary vision or a critical analysis, take an actual look, don't just read the words, look at each individual letter. And then they would notice the double the, right? So a little bit of trickery, obviously, to illustrate the point that you can observe something or you can look at something, but did you observe it, right? You can see something, but did you critically analyze what it is that you were looking at? Then there's a difference between the two. The difference between a trained observer and someone else who's, let's say, hypervigilant or naturally observant is knowing that there's a difference, right? Knowing that there's a difference between primary vision and secondary vision. Primary vision being the eye, secondary vision being the brain. The eyes report fact and fact only. They don't get a chance to vote. It's only once they transfer whatever data that they're observing to the brain where the brain starts to fill in the gaps, make assumptions, recall memory, kind of fill in the gaps that the eyes are seeing. So basically, in a nutshell, it was just a way to illustrate that, hey, you saw something, but you didn't critically analyze it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.